They're bold, they're weird, they're experimental, and some of them are flat out incredible. This is our American Single Malt tier list.
We each gave every bottle a score from 0 to 100, then averaged out our ratings to give it its final placement on our list.
Speaking of single malts, our malt whiskey tea is perfect for the Disney lover. We've got something for Game of Thrones fans, Marvel nerds, and even our seasonal sippers.
All of our shirts are super soft, true to size, and they look great whether you're hitting a whiskey bar or just lounging at home. Hit the link in the description below and grab your favorite. This is the best way to support our channel and look good doing it. Now on to our first bottle. Kicking us off at number 25 is the Notch 12-year by 888 Distilling. This one was a huge surprise. It's made in Nantucket and it's aged for 12 years, which is rare for American Single Malts. You get this deep toffee and fig note up front, followed by a subtle maritime salinity that is totally unique. It's layered, elegant, and drinks way lower than its proof. We are starting off strong here because I'm gonna give this sucker a 96.
There once was a whiskey from Nantucket.
Oh.
That's it.
Okay, good.
Not gonna finish that sentence. But everything about this bottle feels refined. It's got a sherry-like richness that reminds me of high-end scotch, but with a bold American edge. The nose alone was worth the pour. Candied pecans, maple, leather, and it finishes forever. It's $350, but this one actually earns the price tag. I scored it a 95. Between my 95 and your 96, that gives 888's The Notch a 96 overall, starting us off in the S tier.
This might be the first time this happens.
I think so.
And I love it.
I hope they're all in the S tier.
Me too.
Up next at number 24, we've got Boulder American Single Malt. This one comes out of Colorado and punches way above its weight for a $55 bottle. I got toasted hazelnuts, dark chocolate, and a little bit of campfire smoke on the finish. This one is like s'mores without the sugar.
Oh, I like that.
It's got structure, it's got depth, and for the price, it's a steal. I gave it an 89, but I debated going higher.
There is no debate within me, Ryan, because I did go a little higher. There's this roasted barley note that gives it a coffee-like bitterness in the best way possible. It's got great texture, solid balance, and that price point makes it a no-brainer. I gave it a 91. With your 89 and my 91, Boulder lands at a 90, putting it just barely, thanks to yours truly, in the A tier.
I'm glad you did, because it could have gone either way, but I'm glad you pulled it up.
I pulled it up. You know what? You could have pulled it up too.
I could have,
but
I left that to you.
Number 23 is Headframe Kelly American Single Malt. This one comes from Butte, Montana, and it's a fun little bottle from a funny sounding city. Lots of honeyed cereal grains, some peach tea notes, and a clean oak finish. It's approachable without being boring. I gave it an 87.
Totally agree. No flashy finishes, just well-made malt whiskey with a soft texture and mellow fruit character. If this was in a blind lineup, I'd probably think it cost twice as much. I gave it an 87 also, which means we are completely in sync on this one.
Yes, sir, we are.
Look at that. We have an S tier, an A tier, and an in sync right off the bat.
Isn't that crazy?
It's like the best list ever.
I feel like we need to go play poker right now.
Let's go.
Let's do this.
You guys figure out the rest of the list. Since we both came in at 87, that gives Kelly a solid B tier placement. Up next at number 22, we have Copperworks Maltsmith American Single Malt. Copperworks is Seattle-based, and Maltsmith is their flagship American Single Malt. It's made from pale and caramelized malts distilled in traditional copper pot stills. I picked up rich honey, some caramel, even hints of pastry on the nose. However, the finish was a little mellow with the toasted oak and soft spice, so I landed in 81.
Same here. It's smooth and approachable, with pronounced caramel and a touch of leather on the finish. It's a solid, well-balanced sip for around 60 bucks, but I agree. I also gave it an 83. I think that it's a little soft in the finish. So between your 81 and my 83, that gives Maltsmith an 82, landing it in the B tier. It's not flashy, but well made and worth the price. Number 21 is Wyatt Earp Small Batch American Single Malt. I enjoy many of the World Whiskey Society's experimental offerings, and this is no different. The nose hits with dark fruits like plum and cherry on this high-proof bad boy, and there's this honeyed graham cracker on the palate that gives it finesse. It's full-bodied, sweet, leathery, and just straight up delicious. I gave it a 94.
Okay.
What?
We are not on the same page at all here.
What?
Yeah.
Unless you're telling me that this is S tier, then I don't know where this is gonna go.
Not anywhere good.
Oh dear.
I actually found this one a little too syrupy, and that lingering sweetness on the finish, it did not sit right with me.
Did it?
It didn't.
Oh.
Now it's bold, I'll give it that. But the balance was off for me, and for 80 bucks, I just didn't love what it was doing. Sorry man, but I landed at a 78.
What?
So between your 94 and my 78, a 16-point gap, which may be a barrel hunter's record, that averages it out to an 86, slotting it into the B tier. Now, one of us is wrong, and I'm not gonna say who.
Yeah, you better not, because you're just being insulting yourself. All this talk about going play poker together and all that stuff, and now this is what happens.
Yeah, I'll take your chips.
Oh my gosh. Of course you would.
Up next at number 20, we've got Town Branch 7-year Kentucky Single Malt. Now, a Kentucky Single Malt is still an American Single Malt. They are just allowed to say the state name.
You're so cool. They're so fancy.
Excuse me, Kentucky. You already have the bourbon. Why you gotta be special? Town Branch's Single Malt comes out of Lexington. Spends 7 years aging in ex-Kentucky bourbon barrel ale barrels. It's 87 proof and has brown sugar, vanilla, and a little bit of nutmeg on the aroma too. The nose was really promising here, but overall it played a bit too light for me. I landed at a 74.
Yeah, it's smooth and mellow, but lacking a punch and complexity. I actually got the same notes as you did, which is rare given the whole Wyatt Earp situation. I gave it a 76.
Oh, we're getting closer.
We're getting a little closer now.
All right, the Wyatt Earp maybe just be a little blip.
Maybe, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. So between your 74 and my 76, that gives Town Branch 7-year a 75, dropping it into the C tier. Number 19 is Few Single Malt. Few Spirits in Illinois promotes malt to glass. It's 100% malted barley, smoked over cherry wood, so it's not peat, but it still gives you notes of fresh grass, apple, citrus, and just a whisper of smoke. On the palate, I got cinnamon, chocolate fudge, and a soft malty finish. It's pretty solid, but it also finishes kind of quickly, so I gave this bottle an 80.
I thought it felt unfocused, kind of like too many textures and flavors that didn't fully sync for me. And at about 70 bucks, it felt a bit overpriced for the muddled impact, so I gave it a 71.
Oof, you're going rough on these American Single Malts today, Ryan.
Hey, I call it like I see it. So between your 80 and my 71, that averages out to a 76, landing Few Single Malt in the C tier. Coming in at number 18, we've got Old Line Flagship 95. This is Old Line's Baltimore flagship. It's aged for 4 to 6 years in new heavy char American oak, and it lands right at 95 proof, hence the name. It's got a mellow mix of vanilla, cocoa, and cereal on the nose, with that same honey granola vibe on the palate. It's easy drinking and straightforward, but nothing much else. So I scored it an 80.
Yeah, it's malty with granola, raisins, and a touch of lemon zest to brighten it up. It's simple, but solid. I consider it pretty decent, and I gave it an 83. So between your 80 and my 83, that gives Flagship 95 an 82, landing it in the B tier. If you want to try a slightly better pour, try the one that's finished in sherry casks. That one is phenomenal. Number 17 is Redwood Empire Foggy Burrow American Single Malt. Foggy Burrow is a small batch single malt made with a blend of over 7 different malted barleys. No two batches are quite the same. I got cherries, some toasted cashews, and a molasses note that carried through the finish. It's bold, but it felt a little heavy-handed for my palate. For its price point, there are better ones out there, so I gave this one a 77.
Yeah, I like the complexity of it. Dark cherry, a little bit of earthiness, and definitely a soft, creamy texture to it. It's a thinker for sure, but didn't quite hit the mark for me at $100, so I gave this one an 81. Between your 77 and my 81, that gives Foggy Burrow a 79, landing it in the C tier. Creative stuff, just not quite dialed in. Up next at number 16, we've got New Riff Sour Mash Single Malt. Now this is one of the more experimental bottles on this list. New Riff blended 5 different mash bills and aged it for 7 years across 7 different cask types. It's got chocolate covered cherry, a little bit of coconut, and it had this dry herbal note that reminded me of green tea. It's a cool concept, it just didn't fully come together for me, so I gave it a 79.
When a single malt gives me hints of cocoa, I do a happy dance, and Ryan, New Riff gave me the happy dance. There's a cocoa vibe up front, some charred oak, and this subtle spice that keeps building. It felt like New Riff swung for the fences, and I think they connected more than they missed. So I landed at an 85. So with your 79 and my 85, that averages out to an 82, putting New Riff Sour Mash in the B tier. Number 15 on our list is Whiskey Del Bach Classic Single Malt. This is Tucson's dessert crafted single malt. It's unsmoked, made from 100% malted barley, pot distilled, and aged in new American oak. Expect bright stone fruit, and the finish brings caramel and toasted oak. Clean, balanced, and approachable. I gave it an 84.
I liked the fruit and the clarity, but it felt a little too gentle for me. I wanted something with a little bit more richness to push it over the edge. I ended up giving it a 76.
All right. You and your rough scores today. I don't know what you had before you came here, but you are in a bad mood, my friend.
So between your 84 and my Eeyore of a 76, that gives Del Bach Classic an even 80, pulling it up into the B tier, like you always do.
I have to, because if not, then everything's gonna be in the C, D, and F tier.
Up next at number 14, we've got Corsair Triple Smoke American Single Malt. Corsair does not hold back with this one. They use 3 types of smoked malt: cherrywood from Wisconsin, beechwood from Germany, and peat from Scotland. And you get that from the very first sniff. It's like a barbecue pit meets a chocolate shop. I mean, the best of both worlds. I really dug the creativity and the balance between the savory and the sweet. I gave this one a 90.
This is the first American single malt that I ever tried, and it's one of my personal favorites on this whole entire list. It's bold, smoky, and a little sweet, and works in perfect harmony. That mix of campfire, caramel, and dark fruit just grabs you. I scored it a 95. Between your 90 and my 95, that gives Corsair Triple Smoke a 93, landing it comfortably in the A tier. If you're into smoke, this one absolutely delivers. Number 13 on our list is Santa Fe Spirits Colchigan. For this one, instead of peat, they use mesquite smoke on the malt. That gives it a totally different southwestern character, which is sweet campfire, smoke, roasted nuts, and a touch of dry fruit. It's approachable, unique, and really captured that desert terroir. I gave it a 92.
Yeah, I like the mesquite twist on this one. It's softer than a traditional peated malt with a little honey and spice that really keep it balanced. I thought it was really well done, just a touch short on the finish for me, so I scored it an 87.
There it is.
It's still a high B tier.
It is.
Yeah, I'm coming to your house for Christmas. You give out all the good presents. Between your 92 and my 87, once again, you pulled it up from the depths, giving it a 90 and putting Colchigan in the A tier.
Where you belong, Colchigan. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
I will. Up next at number 12, we have Cedar Ridge, the quintessential American Single Malt. Cedar Ridge out of Iowa has really made a name for themselves, and the quintessential is their flagship single malt. It's aged in ex-bourbon barrels and then finished in a variety of casks. Port, sherry, rum, you name it. And then all married together in a Solera vat, what they call the mother batch, which makes it super layered and complex. It's super drinkable, really well priced at $60. I gave it a 90.
I got apricots, caramel, and just enough oak to hold it all together. I thought it was a fantastic value for what it delivers, which are, say it with me, quintessential malted barley flavors. I also gave it a 90, taking us from polar opposites to NSYNC.
Hey, we're back.
With both of us giving it a 90, the quintessential lands solidly in A tier. Number 11 on our list is McCarthy's 3-year Oregon Single Malt. This is the original American Single Malt. Clear Creek Distillery up in Oregon has been making McCarthy's for decades. It's a classic, but with so many heavy hitters popping up in this category, it's hard to choose this one over many others, other than for nostalgia. Big peaty smoke right up front, layered with green apple and roasted grain. It's not the most pleasant pour I've ever had, so I'm scoring it a 76.
Yeah, it's got that campfire punch to it, but I found more depth under the smoke. Pear, malt sweetness, and surprisingly full-bodied for its age. I thought it was impressive for only 3 years old, so I gave it an 85. Between your 76 and my 85, the average is out to an 81, and I finally get to pull McCarthy's into the B tier. Feels so good. Up next, cracking the top 10, we've got St. George Single Malt, and we'll be talking about Lot 24 since that's the most recent one. Now, St. George out of California is basically the godfather of craft distilling in the US, and their single malt has been evolving for decades. It's rich and layered. You got almond, cocoa, a little bit of dried cherry, and an almost tea-like note in the background. It's nuanced, but it's also a bit delicate compared to some of the heavier hitters. I gave this one an 81.
I agree on the complexity. There's a ton going on here. I got roasted malt, caramel, and a bit of spice carrying through the finish. It's okay. And again, this is another one where there are better bottles out there, especially on this list. So I scored this one a 78. So with your 81 and my 78, that puts St. George Single Malt at an 80 overall. And once again, Ryan, you pull this one into the B tier where it doesn't belong.
What a dick.
Number 9 on our list is Bear Fight American Single Malt. Bear Fight is a newer entry on the scene and is designed to be approachable but still layered. It's finished in both sherry casks and peat barrels. It's not actually peated, but that peated barrel finish adds just a wisp of smoke on top of the fruit and malt. For $34, it's an easy pour with actual layers and depth. I gave it a 91.
Yeah, that finishing really does make it stand out. The sherry adds a nice layer of caramel and dried fruit, while the subtle smoke keeps it from ever getting too sweet. It's approachable, but doesn't feel one-dimensional. I gave this one a 92. But with your 91 and my 92, that lands Bear Fight at a 92 overall, right in the A tier. Up next at number 8, we have High West High Country. High West out of Utah is usually known for their blends, but High Country is their American Single Malt, and it's made with a bold twist. They smoke the malt over a mix of wood, giving it a rustic campfire note. You'll get roasted nuts, caramel, and a little dark fruit. It's really well structured. I scored it an 87.
Yeah, it's got that earthy, high desert feel. I got toffee spice and just enough smoke to not overwhelm the malt sweetness. Balanced and very drinkable. I went with a higher score than you with a 92.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're back to pulling things up, huh?
You know me, I like to pull things up when they deserve it. So with your 87 and my 92, that evens out to a 90, landing High Country in the A tier where it so rightfully deserves to be. Lucky number 7 on our list is Virginia Distilling Company's Courage and Conviction. Virginia Distilling Company has been all in on American Single Malt, and Courage and Conviction is their flagship. It's matured in a mix of bourbon, sherry, and cuvee wine casks, which give it a layered character. I got honey, apricot, and vanilla notes on the front, with a little nutty spice weaving through the finish. I scored it an 86.
I really like the cask influence here. It brings in dried fruit, caramel, and a touch of red berry sweetness from the wine casks. It's balanced without feeling overdone and really easy to sip. I gave this one a 90. With your 86 and my 90, that averaged to an 88, landing Courage and Conviction in the B tier.
I like that. I think that should be our tag team name if we ever go into professional wrestling.
Oh.
You have the courage and I have the conviction, so I'll just stand right behind you and let you do all the work.
Oh, okay. Up next at number 6, we have Westward Cash Strength American Single Malt. Westward, out of Portland, Oregon, has been one of the leaders in American Single Malt, and their cash strength version shows why. It's bold, bottled without dilution, and really lets the grain and barrel speak. It's got rich chocolate, dark cherry, and roasted coffee with a big oak backbone. It's intense but well crafted. I scored this one an 88.
This is Westward turned up to 11. Loads of malt sweetness, caramel, and spice, with a chewy texture that lingers. It's powerful but not harsh, and definitely a bottle that makes a statement. I think it deserves a little bit higher, Ryan, so I gave it a 93. And with Westward recently filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, we're really rooting for them because we can't have American Single Malt without Westward. Between your 88 and my 93, that averages out to a 91, placing Westward Cask Strength in A tier. Now we're in our top 5 American Single Malts. And number 5 is Westland Flagship American Single Malt. Westland really laid the groundwork for American Single Malt, and their flagship shows just how much care goes into it. They use 6 different malts and mature it across 5 different cask types, from new American oak to ex-bourbon and sherry. That complexity shows up with cocoa, roasted nuts, and malt sweetness. I appreciate it, and I find it to be a solid pour, so I scored it an 84.
I thought that this was one of the standouts of this lineup. The sherry and bourbon cask gave it layers of dried fruit, caramel, chocolate, with just enough smoke from the malt to keep it lively. It's big, flavorful, and still balanced. I gave it a 91. With your 84 and my 91, that averages out to an 88, landing Westland Flagship in the B tier. Up next at number 4, we have Bulleit American Single Malt. Bulleit decided to jump into the American Single Malt game recently, and honestly, it feels like kind of a safe play from a big brand. It's 100% malted barley, aged in charred oak, but the profile comes across a little thin. I picked up some light caramel, some oak, and a little bit of grain, but didn't really go anywhere from there, so I scored it a 70.
Yeah, I had the same reaction. It's drinkable, but it just doesn't bring the depth you want from a single malt, especially at this price point. I found faint vanilla and toast in the notes, but not much else. I gave it a 65.
Oh.
I wanted this thing in the D. So between your 70 and my 65, that averages out to a 68, dropping Bulleit American Single Malt into the D tier. Number 3 on our list is Jack Daniel's American Single Malt. Jack Daniel's also decided to step into the single malt category, and this one's finished in Oloroso sherry casks. On paper, that sounds like a great match, but in the glass, I thought it felt a little muddled. There's malt sweetness, some nutty sherry character, but it doesn't quite come together. I gave it a 72.
You know, I picked up the same thing. I get a little bit of raisin, some oak, and that sherry finish brings some depth, but overall it felt more like a curiosity than a fully developed whiskey. It's easy enough to sip, but not something I'd reach for often. I scored it a 77. Well, with your 72 and my 77, that averages out to a 75, placing Jack Daniel's American Single Malt in the C tier. At number 2 on our American Single Malts list, we have Balcones Lineage. Lineage is Balcones' nod to both Scotch tradition and Texas terroir. They use a mix of Scottish Golden Promise barley and Texas grown malt, then age it in a combination of used bourbon and wine casks. I got big dark fruit, roasted grain, and a little cocoa, but the oak and the heat pushed it way out of balance for me, which happens a lot with Balcones stuff for me. So I landed at a 69.
Oh, here we go again.
Yep.
Balcones is a leader in the ASM world, and you degrade it with your sloppy 69. I love that mix of dry fruit, toasted malt, and spice. That Texas heat really drives up the intensity, and I think it actually works on this one. For me, it was bold, complex, and very Balcones. It's not the best whiskey in the world, but definitely better than a sloppy 69. I gave it an 84. So between your 69 and my 84, that averages out to a 77, putting Lineage in the C tier. Definitely divisive, but if you like Balcones' house style, I definitely think you should give this one a shot, especially since Balcones has played such a significant role in American Single Malt becoming its own category.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm glad they pushed American Single Malts forward, but doesn't make them great.
And now we're down to our final pick. Number 1, American Single Malt. Stranahan's Blue Peak. Stranahan's has been flying the flag for American Single Malt out of Colorado for a long time. And Blue Peak is their most approachable bottle. It's Solera aged, so every batch blends younger whiskey with older stocks for consistency. I got honey, toffee, and baked apple with a smooth, easy finish. Nothing over the top, but super drinkable. I gave it an 87.
Yeah, it's a really solid pour for under $50. I picked up some of the malt sweetness, a little bit of that baked fruit, and some light oak spice that really keeps it balanced. It's dependable, easy to enjoy anytime. I scored it an 85. But with your 87 and my 85, that averages out to an 86, placing Stranahan's Blue Peak in the B tier.
This was a roller coaster ride, Ryan, of epic proportions. And you know what? If I'm gonna be in battle with somebody, I want it to be you.
But we got the courage and conviction.
Yes, we do. If you enjoyed this one, check out our other tier lists where we've ranked bourbons, scotches, Irish whiskeys, and so much more.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and let us know your favorite American Single Malt in the comments. Until next time,
Cheers.